next episode of Operation Ghost. We're doing a Death Day special, and by we, I mean me. I did bring the beast along, but other than that, on November 22nd, Blackbeard the pirate, the infamous pirate, died on Ocracoke Island. It was said that he floated around a boat 2 times before his body finally sank. That was after the British caught up with him. And I am going to that island. I'm going to the point where he died. He died right off the point. Currently waiting for the ferry to come pick me up, so take me to this island. And pretty excited. So after spending quite a bit of time researching, I found out that actually a lot of people don't know a whole lot about the guy. Blackbeard the pirate, that is. He was believed, and there's an emphasis there, believed to have been born in England. He was part of their military, which is why it makes sense why he was so good with ships, why he was so smart. I think personally he was probably high in command on some naval ship, honestly. And he was part of the War of Spanish Succession, which is why he was in the Caribbean, which is why he got there. He basically just hopped off ship, teamed up with another pirate. He was actually in second command for a while. Eventually, he ended up getting his own ship, though. Actually, at the end, he didn't have his own ship. He had his own ships. He had a whole fleet. And for a while, he even blockaded South Carolina. This guy was absolutely insane. And it was actually British soldiers that were in Virginia. Eventually, finally, they said, enough is enough. And they said, bring him back dead or alive. And they came around and they took him by surprise on this, not on the island, but right off the island, right off of Springer's Point, which is where I'm headed next. And it was today, November 22nd, that this happened. And I've heard a couple different stories. One story was his body floated around the boat 2 times and then sank, which is crazy that it would float, do 2 circles around a boat, then sink. And then the other one, which actually seems to be the most popular, which maybe they both happened, they beheaded him and they hung his head on the end of the boat and went back as proof that they had killed Blackbeard the pirate. So, as usual, the powers that be is going to make things a little complicated. I really wanted to do the entire investigation tonight on the actual birthday that he had been killed. However, it is going to thunderstorm pretty much from 1 o'clock all the way until, I think, sometime around like 4 in the morning or something. I'm going to try, but I can't get my equipment wet. But I extended my stay here 1 more night so I can actually do a double investigation, which I'm all for, because, I mean, what if something just doesn't happen one night? What if the spirits just aren't feeling it? Whatever. And that, I think that really spreads out the opportunity to catch more evidence. So I like doing double nights. But, you know, that's just the hand we were dealt, unfortunately. It's going to be real thunderstormy and rainy for Blackbeard the Pirate's Death Day, but that's okay. So I'm here in Springer's Point. I'm in the trail before I actually get to the point itself. So this park closes at sunset. So that might kill my nighttime investigation unless I decide to do something that I probably shouldn't do. But we'll see how that goes. I think it's really interesting that there's a storm rolling in on Blackbeard the Pirate's Death Day. I don't know if there's some paranormal coincidence there or not. So Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, this was his hangout. This was known as his hangout. That's why they knew he was going to be here when they killed him. But there's another ghost story that goes along with this place. I heard a story from one of the locals that there was a man that owned all this, and he only cared about his horse. And somewhere in here, he is buried, and so is his horse. And it's said that you can still see him standing next to his horse. So if Edward Teach, Blackbeard the Pirate, the infamous, decides not to make an appearance, at least I have something else to hope for. I said I have a lot to hope for, but is it just me in these trails, or is something else sinister lurking? So I believe I found it. It was Samuel G. Jones, who owned his horse, and he died here. He owned most of this. July 31st, 1893 to September 27th, 1977. Wow, he was super old. But not only is he buried here, his horse is buried here. So I definitely think this is going to be a hot spot, since the legend is that you can still see him and his horse standing here among this great land. Here's a good look at Sam Jones's gravestone, along with where his pet horse is buried right next to him. Well, I made it to the beach. I gotta say, it's truly amazing to be here, regardless of how this investigation goes. I remember researching this place months ago, and it's really outstanding to finally be standing here, right where Blackbeard the pirate, the same beach he stepped on, his stomping grounds, his hangout, just to be here where he stood, and to actually tonight try to capture some evidence of his paranormal existence. It's absolutely amazing. I find it pretty interesting that this was Blackbeard's hangout, as they say, because honestly this place is pretty treacherous. There's at least 5 signs showing the different types of plants that can harm you, anywhere between some black needle thing and poison ivy. And the terrain is just, I mean, it's so thick in here, and just honestly looks like a nightmare to travel through. And you got to think, during these times, it wasn't like there's a nice trail like I have. This is what it was. You know, there was no bench here. There was no graveyard. It was all these trees and these godforsaken plants. So I wonder what it was. I wonder what he had here. I wonder what it was like for him when he got here, because it obviously wasn't like this. I wonder if there was clearings. Maybe he set up or built a place for himself to stay, or maybe somebody had already inhabited the island. I don't know. But it's definitely interesting to look at all this and see how horrible it would have been to just walk through here without a trail. I mean, it is kind of deadly in here, and I have no idea what the actual wildlife is like. I don't know what kind of snakes could be in here or anything. It's absolutely insane. Well, I think I got all the pre-footage I need of this place, and I think I got an understanding of the layout and what I need to do. However, I'm gonna kind of have to play it by ear with the hours that I do this, with the storm coming in, this park closing at sunset. Maybe I'll come in right before sunset and maybe kind of push the limits on how long I'm supposed to stay in here, so I can get some nighttime shots and some more nighttime investigating, and then I can sneak out of here. But I owe it to you guys. You guys are watching this and supporting me, so thank you guys. The rain's kind of been on and off, and it's gonna get a lot worse later on. So I'm about to head out, and basically the situation with the weather is I'm about an hour right now from sunset, and I'm going to try to get into the park and maybe try to stretch how long I'm there, because there's a little bit of a lull in the weather. So, you know, I can't get my equipment wet. So I did bring a trash bag because I got to walk all the way to Springers Point because there's no parking. So, you know, I'm here at the opening gates, and I'm about to enter, and we're gonna get this investigation started. It's about 4 o'clock, and I got about an hour till sunset. After that, I'm gonna have to play that game. There's definitely a sense of eeriness that I didn't have before, and that just might be because the weather changed. The barometric pressure is different. Maybe I just feel it because I'm actually investigating this time. It seems like I'm alone here. I figured so, since it's raining and it's the off season here. So there wasn't many people to begin with. There was one person earlier, that was about it. But I can't say that I feel a presence. Maybe that's it, I don't know. But I definitely get I got a weird feeling here that I felt before at a battlefield. And I think they're connected, but I don't know. I'm gonna pull out the EMF. There's absolutely no electricity here. I have not seen a single wire, light, or anything. So if I start getting EMF readings, then that'll be something to talk about. I'm about to do my first ghost box session. I'm doing it right next to Samuel Jones' grave and his horse's grave. And I do have my full spectrum camera aimed right at the grave site. So I'm going to see if I can pick anything up, and I'm going to use my phone because it's good EVP recorder actually. The audio is great. So we'll see what we get going. Sam, did you love your horse? I spent a lot of time on my ghost box at first, and I didn't get a whole lot. Sam, I know and I heard that the only thing you really cared about was your horse. You buried your horse here, so is there anything you would like to say about your horse? The responses simply just weren't there, so I decided to just go to straight up EVP. Sam, I'm still here at your grave. I keep trying to talk to you, but... I didn't hear this initially, but I think I got a response to this question. Do you not want me here, Sam? 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 Is it possible that I finally got the response I was looking for from Sam Jones? What I heard next is something I didn't hear initially as well. Sam, are you here? Here it is a few more times. Two responses right next to Sam Jones' grave. Was he trying to communicate with me? To say the least, there's definitely an intense vibe about this place. I was alone, but I felt like there was somebody there with me the entire time. Well, I'm under the most interesting tree in the world, I think. A branch goes all the way down here, back up here, and back to the main roots. And I have my full spectrum camera behind me, aiming down the path in case Samuel decides to try to come kill me. And yes, the red marks on my neck are from mosquitoes. They're literally on steroids. I'm right next to the beach, the same beach that Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard the Pirate himself, stepped on. This was his hangout, and I'm wondering how long has this tree been here. This seems like a super old tree, and I just can't help but wonder, was this path here before? Did he walk this path? Did this tree actually see Blackbeard the Pirate? So I'm going to run a ghost box session here, because what if this was a marking for him? There's those rocks over there right behind me, as you can see on the beach. The rocks. And I'm wondering if maybe this is actually where he docked. Maybe this is where he came to. I don't know. I don't have that bit of history. But it seems like is any good of a place to stop and do a ghost box session. So let's go for round 2 and see if we can make contact with Edward Teach on his death day. It was at this point the rain started to pick up and really make things difficult. Is Blackbeard the Pirate here with me? Edward Teach. Okay, I've been waiting for something. There's no electricity here whatsoever, minus my phone right now, and there's a boat like literally a mile that way. Edward Teach, Blackbeard, if you're here, can you say something? After this, I started making my way back through the path, and I definitely got the sense something was following me. Is there anybody here with me? At this point, I could definitely feel a presence, and I was a little freaked out. If there's anybody here, can you speak right into this device? I was here before. How come you weren't saying anything? I did manage to capture a couple strange photos before I left. This ball of mist is really strange because it doesn't show up in any other photos I took. Now in this photo it was raining. You can see all the way to the far right of the screen, that is a raindrop, and that was consistent throughout the video. Right to the left, just above it, is a weird orb of light that wasn't consistent with any raindrops. Here you see the same thing. You can see the raindrop to the left side in the background, and you see that weird orb of light. Now, mind you, this was taken right after the last photo, and this is exactly when I felt like I was being followed through the trail. Was that orb of light following me? Well, that didn't go exactly how I wanted it to. The rain just picked up too much, and my equipment was getting wet. I'm gonna go back through the footage. Honestly, it just got to the point where I think the raindrops were affecting everything. Audio, aside from destroying my equipment, audio, I think is gonna be a big issue there. And when I was taking pictures with my full spectrum camera, I think it was catching the raindrops. Because I started to think that I was seeing orbs of light. But I have to go back through because I only see it for a second before it goes away and the camera resets. But aside from that, yeah, soaking wet, and the mosquitoes were attacking me. But so past a certain point, there's really just nothing I can do, and the rain was honestly just gonna debunk any evidence I thought I had. So, but tomorrow night's round 2, so it says the skies are clear. So hopefully that carries over, and we're good to go tomorrow night. Well, I'm back, and it's day 2, November 23rd, the day after Blackbeard the Pirate died, and the sun's about, I guess, 45 minutes from setting. Last night definitely didn't go the way I planned, just with the rain and the storms. I mean, I kind of knew that that was going to happen, and I think it definitely, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to investigate in the rain, unless you got all waterproof equipment, but then audio and my full spectrum camera is picking up raindrops. So I think that pretty much ruins a lot of things. But I always liked, staying in a spot and investigating it at least twice, because, I mean, there's nothing to say that something's going to happen tonight that won't happen next week. I think paranormal investigating or ghost hunting is the same as hunting in general. I do a lot of deer hunting, and I think it's just being in the right place at the right time. Because, I mean, is a haunted place, is it always haunted? I mean, I guess, but is something always happening there? Is Casper the Friendly Ghost always there rattling a chain? No, probably not. There's a lot of theories on what makes that happen. And I agree with a couple, but I think energy's one of them, and what gives a spirit energy, and how often do they get it, and how do they get it? I mean, it's not down to a science, but I mean, I think in a place that's notoriously haunted, like there's 2 different stories just here in this spot. But is that happening all the time? No, it's not. Maybe something will happen tonight that didn't happen last night, but hopefully. But we're here, and I'm gonna get started here shortly, and hopefully I can get a little bit of some nighttime investigating and get some solid evidence. Well, I'm out here. We're doing this ghost box session. Sam Jones, can you come speak in this device to us? Was that a response, Sam? Up to this point, I had captured a few things that I thought might have been a voice, but I really think I was just reaching. I really wasn't getting a whole lot of communication the whole night through the ghost box. Come on, Sam. I really spent a lot of time trying to find the presence that I found the night before, but I wouldn't find that till I went back to the tree later. I'm now out here by the beach, by the infamous tree I've been sitting at. Right out that way is where the infamous Blackbeard the Pirate died. And this is stomping grounds. Edward Teach, are you here with me? Edward Teach, are you here? Blackbeard the Pirate, are you out here? After failing to communicate through the ghost box, after a while I decided to start taking full spectrum camera pictures. Now, when I finally got around to taking these pictures, I started to really get that eerie feeling again that I had the night before. At this point that the picture was taken, I was kind of hightailing it down the trail, trying to get out, but I wanted to take pictures one last time. And as you can see, that same orb of light from the night before found me again. This picture was taken right behind me. This picture was taken right before that one, just as I was leaving. The tree that I've been sitting next to, the tree that the night before the same thing happened where I felt like the presence came to me and followed me all the way through the trail. Is this the same orb of light right next to the tree, and did it follow me all the way down the trail again? Even though I didn't catch staggering evidence, this whole trip definitely freaked me out, and I definitely had the sense that somebody was right next to me and was walking right behind me down the trail as I left. I mean, is it possible that the feeling of being isolated and all by myself just got the best of me? Or was the voices I captured, or the feeling I felt, was that actually somebody? Was this orb of light the source of what was making me feel so eerie? Make me feel like somebody's just right next to me, walking right behind me, practically breathing down my neck? Well, guys, that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe.